Namo Shakyamuni Buddha. Dear all Thai, all Go and all practitioners, right now is our time to discuss the Dharma and also have answer any question that people might have. It is also time for us to collect feedback for our practice as well as for our upcoming retreat, to help us strengthen the belief in the mind and practice uninterruptedly. We practice this method, which is the direct method passed down from Shakyamuni Buddha to Venerable Mahakassapa, and then passed down from patriots to patriots until the 28th patriot, which is Bodhidharma, which brought it over to China. And from China, it was passed down to the second patriarch, etc., until it reached the sixth patriarch, which is Huệ And then from the sixth patriarch to later on is a lot of hundreds of people that enlightenment, and the patriot Zen method start to gain popularity in China and finally passed down on to the neighboring countries like Vietnam, Myanmar, Japan, Korea, and later on passed out to other Eastern countries up until today. So we are very lucky practitioners that we have such a connection with this Patriot Zen method that was passed down by Mahakassapa. The principle is from doubt to enlightenment. Always keep the doubt until we reach enlightenment. And it's not simple for us to be able to raise the doubt easily due to our attachment, ignorance, lead us to follow suspicion, discrimination, and attachment, and not able to raise the doubt. And the doubt of Patriot Zen is opposite from there, and it tackle the ignorance and attachment. Therefore, for the practitioners with a strong belief, their practice will be uninterrupted, and until then they will be able to end all attachment, stop all discrimination. Like the Buddha said, when the deluded mind stops, that is considered bodhi. So the practice, what important is belief in the true mind and raise the doubt. But instead of belief in the true mind, we believe in the deluded mind. Therefore, our patriot have to create skillful means, give out the teachings. All of these teachings, the purpose of them is to strengthen the belief in the mind. If we don't practice, we won't be able to reach liberation. Without a skillful means, we won't believe, and we won't put our time to practice, and we won't believe in the method and keep chasing after the attachment. So all of the teaching is to help us believe in the true mind and end attachment. And the right way to practice is to raise the question clearly, continuously, diligently. Eventually, we will be able to nurture the doubt. Our patriot has an example. The doubt is like blowing a balloon. We keep blowing until the balloon get too inflated, till when it starts to to break, and when the bubble break, then all is similar to all of our suspicion end, all of the attachment end. That when we fully achieve the liberation. So right now, anybody has any question, please bring up your question. Namo Shakyamuni Buddha. We can continue with the question that Cô Hải has this morning. Namo Shakyamuni Buddha. Dear Thầy, dear all practitioners, this morning you talked about your Dharma talk is to help us have more clarification about how to live within the community, and your teaching every day help us to apply into our daily life. Each of us has our own habits, and these habits have been accumulated for countless lives. So there's no way we can end these habits within days, and thanks to the wise teacher, we are able to recognize our mistake. By our eyes, we cannot see what is in behind our back. Only the wise teacher will be able to see it and tell us what's going on. So you taught us that as long as we keep the doubt, then everything will pass by. But for us, we still have a lot of attachment and discrimination. There was a practitioner that shared with me that she's very sad that she always got criticized about this issue or that issue, and she feel extremely sad. And I told her, just listen to the teachings of our teacher and focus on the doubt. Just do what we need to do, and anything we don't need to do, we prioritize the practice. Could you please talk more about this so this practitioner can be able to understand the importance of keeping the doubt to help that person feel easier to live within the Sangha? Namo Shakyamuni Buddha. The importance of our practice is to always raise the question, raise the doubt, whether we are happy or in such good conditions, we still have to practice because everything is impermanent. We have to always think about such impermanence. But contemplating on impermanence doesn't mean we think about it, or we think about it to the point when we feel fearful of impermanence. The more we think about it, sometimes it makes us feel more confused about what impermanence is. But when with the practice, we will be able to clear on what is impermanence, what is birth and death, what is the ultimate meaning of prajna. If we just keep trying to analyze the meaning of prajna, we won't be able to truly get the idea. But people don't believe in that. They say it doesn't make sense. How can I just meditate and able to understand everything? It's because our prajna has always been ready and complete, but we don't believe in our prajna, but only believe in our brain, because we don't open up our mind. We let our brain being active and not able to accept the good dharma, the practice. If we accept the rule, the precepts, we will become good person. But because we don't accept the precepts, we don't accept that we make mistakes. That's why we keep feel sad, complain, and generate affliction without knowing what is the root cause. That is because of our ignorance and attachment. Our patriarch taught that in the temple, where that temple focused on only one method. That is of such a great, great condition, a great blessings that we have due to the seeds that we planted for many, many lives. Like when we take refuge in the three jewels and learn the Dharma and practice on it, it is such a great blessing. Like the Buddha said, it's very difficult to have the human body, very difficult to hear the Buddha Dharma. So a lot of great conditions, a lot of blessings for us to be able to have this human body. If we lose this human body, we don't know when, how long we will be able to become a human again. You know, we always assume that we will be able to reborn as a human again, but it's actually not that easy. It's because we are not able to truly get the idea of human body is very hard to get. Buddha Dharma is very hard to listen. If we practice well, we will be able to recognize that, you know, all of our thoughts, the good thoughts is very little, but the bad thoughts, the evil thoughts are a lot and generated constantly. So when we are able to see it that way, we will be able to see that how hard it is for us to be able to reborn, to be a human and a heavenly being compared to other bad realms. It's not that easy. You know, when we lose this breath and pass away, it's very easily that we fall into the three lower realms for many, many lives. Up until we have such a strong good thought, then we will be able to become a human again. The good have to be much, much higher than the evil for us to reborn into the three good realms. It's not easy at all. But because we so deluded, we are not able to recognize the good Dharma, we're not able to see the effect of the karma. That's why we have such a human body. We have the chance to meet the Dharma, but we don't appreciate it. We don't try to protect it. We don't want to open the mind to accept the teachings of the wise teacher, the Buddha, and the patriarch. So that means we we are the one who harm ourselves. It's just like we are an heir to a family, and we have a lot of assets, a lot of treasure that our family left to us, but we don't appreciate it, and we disappointed the what our family left for us. You know, if we don't appreciate like that, of course we will become a beggar and have to suffer. It's because of us, not because of anything one else. Master Lai Quả, the one who get enlightened recently, also advised us. You know, he's very compassionate. He knows that the nature of the sentient being is very stubborn, and that's why we need to use the rules and the precepts to help um, um, basically to help, you know, like melt out all of the stubbornness, melt out all of the hardness and stubbornness of the sentient being. So the retreat is like a great opportunity to, you know, make the gold out of all of the impurities. So but people tend to, you know, instead of going to the good realms, they don't want to go to the good place. They only want to go to the bad place. And Master Lai was very compassionate that he kept reminding that just ask the question, raise the doubt clearly to help us forget about greed, anger, ignorance, forget about all of those fake happiness, temporary happiness, or come back to the doubt, ask the question and raise the doubt. Doesn't matter what the situation is, even when we are in turbulence, we are, you know, um, so overwhelmed, we still have to practice. Doesn't matter how much knowledge we have, even if we are the one who are able to remember right away everything that we learn, we still have to put down everything and ask the question. Don't let those, knowledge challenges or the affliction challenges deter us from practice. Have to always focus on asking the question during the retreat. Our knowledge, compared to even the scientists, there's nowhere near the knowledge of the scientists, but we so cling on to our knowledge and feel arrogant on that, instead of being able to see that, those things are just are still birth and death. They are not permanent. Those those things already lead us into the six realms for many, many lives. And now we have such a blessing to have a human body and meet the right Dharma. If we don't take advantage of this opportunity to practice, then even if the Buddha and the Patriarch is here, they won't be able to help us further. So if we are clever, we are wise enough, we need to open up our mind and apply the practice. Lots of people always complain. You keep saying practice, 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 but actually the practice is the most precious thing. Like some of the old lady, they wanted to become a monastic, so we let them become a monastic, but they are um, practicing the Pure Land schools, and they still keep, wanting to hear the news, hear the songs, hear the, worldly news. And when the abbot told the lady to try to recite the Buddha's name, then she got angry and she said, "Don't you know how tired I am? I need to relax a little bit, you know." Um, and she's also said she accidentally become a monastic, but she doesn't. She find out that she doesn't want it. While at the beginning, when she raised that mind of wanting to become a monastic, she find every possible way to convince um, her teacher to become the monastic. But now she completely changed, you know, and even her teacher couldn't say anything further.
Dạ, con kính thưa thầy và kính thưa đại chúng. Những lời sách tấn của thầy mỗi ngày con cũng
Tam has a question.
cũng
Dear
hiểu
everyone, your teachings every day, I
một
understand
phần
clearly
với cái phần
that
tứ đại này con
impermanence
cũng
and
hiểu
this
được.
um,
Rồi
body of
nó
the four
luôn
elements, I
tạo vật
can
chất
see
của
it.
mình những cái gì mình có.
I know that all of
Có
the
nhiều nó
assets,
tiền bạc
the
nó
materials that we have,
kiếm được
for
nhưng
example,
dù mình
our
có
money,
muốn
it
gì đâu,
it
những cái
eventually
gì mình
leave
có
us even though we don't want it
vô
that way.
vô thường, đúng là thực sự là vô thường, nó có đó rồi
So impermanence is very
mờ
clear here. We have that,
biến
and
hết.
we have it now,
Mỗi
and we
ngày thầy sách
lose it
tấn thì
then.
con hiểu hết, nhưng mà công phu
Every day,
cái chỗ
what
mà
you teach
thiền định
us, I understand every,
phóng
but
ở
practice
công
to the
phu
point where
tới
you
cái
said
những cái căn nghi thiền
I
định
still haven't
đúng là
reached that
đủ chỗ
level.
sao con thấy nó trong
I
quá.
feel like it's too difficult.
Không có dễ chút
It's
nào.
not easy at all
Con
to
thấy
reach
con
the
phải
level that you
mở
mentioned.
trên
I
tất
know
cả
that
công phu đó,
uh,
nhưng mà tới cái
the
chỗ
practice
thiền
has
định
to be prioritized all other conditions. but still being able to reach the point that you said is not easy. Could you please give me some encouraging words? Thank you, Master. Our pager also said it's not easy able to contemplate the Dharma, that all of those are impermanent is very difficult. And the thought of impermanence, the thought of doubt, a thought of birth and death, you know, where we reach the point that all thought is just only one thought. It's like we are blowing the bubble to the point is when it's almost break, but it's not break yet. And then the next step is when the bubble, the balloon breaks, it's even much harder. Even though it seems like they're different level, but once we once we are able to complete one level, we will be able to complete all other ones. Like the page here said, if we believe 10 out of 10, we will be awakened 10 out of 10. The reason why we still don't have uninterrupted practice is because our belief still not 100%. Even right now, we think, oh, I have complete belief, but actually not. You only believe in your knowledge, only your consciousness, only your understanding. Like during Master Wei Li, there were some other people said, oh, I believe 100%, I will put down everything else but only focus on Patriot Zen. And our Master Wei Li said, no, you only believe 50%. And we can see over time, later on, they completely change to a different opposite direction. So we are tricked by our consciousness without us even knowing. It's not easy, it's not simple. If we believe at that point and so determined to the point where we will put all into practice, where we don't even see the subject and the object of the belief anymore, then our mind will reach that stage where our mind will not move anymore. That means when our belief is complete, then even if we just listen to one word, we will get full awakening. But right now, even when we hear a lot and we feel like, oh, it's very good to listen, but actually we still not at that stage yet. We still not move from duality yet. So when you have such a realization, not that it's not easy, that is correct. And then from there, we should, appreciate the practice, not being easy in life, not being careless in life, and let time pass, waste. We have to be careful and always cautious. Like our page said, like we are walking on the sharp blade of the sword. How can we walk on a sharp blade of the sword without being killed? We have to be very, very careful. Like the Buddha has an example. We are chased after by the enemy, and in front of us is the fire. If we take a step further, we will die. If we take a step back, we will also die. And on the side is a deep end. So we are in such a position where we cannot move forward, cannot move backward, cannot move left, cannot move right. Then what should we do so that we don't die? So that is an example to remind us that we have to always cautious, always keep the practice, not letting us to stay at one place, find a way to raise the prajna, raise the doubt to help us escape such realms. So we have we need such a contemplation of prajna. We need such a belief in order to escape those states. You understand? She said, what you say is very correct. I still, my belief mainly still just on the consciousness, not in the true mind. At first, when I thought I believe in the true mind 100%, but actually everything I do still be run by my consciousness, even my practice. So I really, really get what you are trying to teach me. Thank you, thầy. Thầy sẽ thầy Pháp Từ, please. They said the next question would be the question that Cô Chu Bình raised in the chat. Namo Shakyamuni Buddha, the Thầy and all practitioners. I would like to share all of the words that you remind us. I understand that those words are like the skillful means. Like all of the Dharma friends have the question or share their experience as a way to encourage each other. I remember you just mentioned it's very difficult to believe. We usually just understand on the foundation of the consciousness. We use the teachings of the Buddha and the Patriarch to encourage one another. I think it's the best way to do it, but in reality, we're still not able to truly practice those teachings because we still only understand on the foundation of consciousness. Like we talk about impermanence, we said all dharmas are like delusions, dreams. You just said if our deluded mind still doesn't stop, then how can we will be able to see what truly is like a dream or a delusion? The sixth patriarch said, it's not the wind that is blowing. It's not the direction that is changing. That is because the mind is moving. I understand that like a water that have the impurities, if the water doesn't calm down and all the impurity fall to the end of the cup, how can we see what is delusion, what is dream? Another example is like a mirror that is covered with dust. If we don't wipe away those dust to see the clear mirror, then how can we see what is dream, what is delusion? So our deluded mind, our consciousness has a lot of impurities. So there's no other way except to, expose more to the practice. That's what I want to share to everyone. Thầy said, Thầy Pháp Từ share his experience. Our purpose after listening is to keep the practice, not to increase the knowledge. That is to follow what the Buddha and the Patriarch always teach us. So when we hear all of this again and again, it's to help us supplement on belief in the mind. Like in this temple, we put the phrase, keep in mind the Hoa Thổ. It's because we want everyone to always be reminded to come back to their practice. So our patron and Buddha eventually want us to reach liberation. I thank you, Thầy Pháp Từ, to share. Thầy Pháp Thiện, could you please translate the question of cô Chu Bình? Thầy Pháp Thiện translate the teaching like this. She said she truly thank you to Thầy. All question that you teaching her is wonderful. She heard that whatever we encountered, if we continue to complain, I cannot hear what he's talking. The way to do it is to neglect it and practice diligently, and eventually we will reach enlightenment. That is a word that she wants to share. Could you please advise more? Thầy said it's not easy to neglect. We have to return to the practice. If we say neglect, we are still having attachment. Neglect is a way of suppression. Neglect is just a way to counteract with the afflicted mind, the complaining mind, the attaching mind, ignorant mind. Like the Buddha said, because of attachment, that's why we have ending attachment. And the meaning of ending attachment here is we need to move away from the object. When we move away from the object, then the subject will end as well. Like if we move away from the guest, then the owner will disappear as well. If we remove the bad, then the good will not be there either. All of those discrimination, duality, subject and object. But how do we move away from that? If we practice, ask the question, raise the doubt will help us move away from everything. But don't use the doubt to move everything. If you do that, we are making the doubt as to become a tool, making it to be like an object of gaining, object of seeking. And that is still within the foundation of consciousness. So with the practice, we need to raise the contemplation of prajna. How do we do that? People tend to chase after the name, the sound, the words, and we get stuck in those teachings. And so that our thought can be rely on those. But if we do that, we continue to attach instead of ending attachment. So if we truly want to understand the prajna, we have to practice. If we don't, then we won't be able to even understand subject and object, let alone the meaning of prajna. Same thing for the meaning of the doubt. If we practice, ask the question, raise the doubt, we will be able to get the prajna. But we have to practice following the right principle. Then automatically we will be able to practice the meaning of the ending attachment that the Buddha mentioned in all the scriptures. So the right thinking is have to ending attachment. If we still have attachment, that means we still in deluded view. Depending on the attachment of different practitioners, that's why we have different level of attachment. And because of that, the Buddha create different skillful means from the indirect method to the direct method. but at the end we have to recognize the self nature. At the end we have to enter the rational door. So whether the method is indirect or direct, we still have to come to the same place at the end. So even though when we use the words neglect or put aside, in reality it's not easy to neglect. Even sometimes when we have the practice, we're still not able to put it aside or pass on it, because if we still hold on to attachment, not being able to put down, we won't be able to put it aside. So we have to practice, ask the question, raise the doubt. Automatically, everything will be swept away. Like the Buddha has an example in the Surangama Sutra. When our eye is sick, that's why we see floaters in the space. But actually, there are no floaters in the space. It's because the eye is sick. With the person with unhealthy eye, they don't see any floater in the air. So because our eye is sick, that's why we mistaken that there is floaters in the air, and then we feel afflicted, and we're busy trying to clean up the floaters. And that's why the Buddha keep saying, originally there is no floaters, because your eye is sick. That's why you have such a wrong perception. So, but even though when we heard the explanation, we believe, but because our eyes still sick, we still see the floaters, and we still attach to those and find every possible way to clean up those floaters. Or because of our attachment. So the foundation is we have to cure the eyes. We have to believe that there's no floaters. It's our eyes is sick, and we have to go seek the doctor to help cure the eyes. So there's no floaters, but because our eyes is these sick, that's why we see all of the wrong perceptions. So we have to practice following the teachings, the right teaching, to eventually see the self nature and not being controlled by the ignorance and attachment. Thầy asked if you understand. She said she understand. The time is up. Goodbye everyone. Back here.